Time for some more questions. Let's go.
99 problems, but a mortgage ain't one.
Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world.
Okay, let's start with Hot Too Warm says, thoroughly enjoy your channel. One set of questions keep popping up in my mind about van life. What happens during annual vehicle inspections? And what do you do if your vehicle needs to be laid up in a repair shop for a few days? The obvious answer is to stay with a friend. Yep, that's it exactly. Is there any concern about your possessions disappearing while at the shop? Well, why would you leave your computer and your valuables in your vehicle? Well, it's in the shop. Have you encountered this issue before? What did you do? Thanks. Yeah, I had my old motorhome once. It was in the shop for transmission rebuild for about a week and a half, and I just stayed at a friend's house and brought all my stuff. We don't have annual vehicle inspections, so I mean this has already been government inspected because I imported it from the U.S. Into Canada. So, but if they ever brought that in, that's all you would do is just take out your valuables and either check into a motel for a night or go to a friend's. No big deal. All right, next, Michael Davis says, hey Justin, new to your channel and was wondering if you could answer a question or two about RVs. I've been planning on buying one for about a few months now. The problem is I've been having issues with what to look for in an RV. I was wondering if you knew of any decent books that would walk you through what to look for in RVs and maintenance of one. I plan to spend about $3,000 or $4,000 on one. I don't want to end up buying a trash piece of crap. I would like to be able to check to see if everything's in working order and not falling apart before I purchase it. Well, honestly, that's just like any other vehicle, right? Get a friend who knows mechanics to take a look at it, or get it inspected by CAA or AAA in the States. And as far as what kind of motorhome, man, I think you just need to do research on what do you need. Where are you going to be? You're going to be in a city? You can't have a big Class A. Are you going to be out in the country? Then you can get away with that. Are you going to drive it every day? Well, then you're going to want something smaller. I mean, there's too many variables, man. So that's something you got to figure out on your own. I don't know of any books on that. RCFJR says, nice video on Class Bs and your personal choice. Most people I know who use a Class B have had a Class C first. It seems that it's easier to transition into a B from a C. That was your transition as well. Well, I see that a lot, especially for city dwellers, right? Let me give you, you know, like for a while ago in the summer, I was parked along a street. There were about 15 RVs there, Class A, B, and C. And when the city came down to start enforcing the time limits on parking there, people that were parking for weeks at a time, sometimes, they had 72-hour parking on that area of the city. So they came around to leave notices on the windshields of the people living there. They left notices on all the Class A's and C's, but everybody in their vans and Class B's, under the radar. Didn't bother us at all. So yes, it is true, even a Class B with a big high top is completely invisible to the average Joe. They don't know it's a motorhome inside. For the most part, even city officials didn't realize they were RVs as well. So the Class A's and C's had to move. The Class B's, they left them alone. And I've had Class A, C, and B. I started with B actually, then I experimented with C's and A's, and both of them were just too much for city living, and I didn't need all the space. I actually found it kind of ridiculous hauling around all that space when I didn't need it. I don't need 4 beds, I only need 1 bed, so a B makes sense. Programmer EU says, hey, I'm planning on doing a conversion of a cargo van into a home. I will not be having a shower, toilet, or kitchen in it because I'll live 99% of the time in nature, and I don't think I need it. Cool, man. But in winter, it can get minus 20 Celsius for 1 to 2 months. I know you're not experienced in cold weather, but the point is, I need a way to heat my van. I don't have the money to buy a marine fireplace. Honestly, this wouldn't be good enough in minus 20. You would need a real wood stove, unless you're parked in the city where you can't really use a wood stove. But And so anyways, I was thinking of buying a Mr. Buddy heater and connecting it to 11 kilogram metal propane bottle. Now I've heard that you should not have something like that indoors. Is that true? No, Mr. Buddy heaters are designed for indoor use. They have an automatic shut off on them if the oxygen levels get too low. They also shut off if they're tilted, so if they fall over, they'll shut off. However, never rely on that. It's your life we're talking about. Always leave a window open a little bit. If you're using an unvented propane heater, the marine fireplace is vented, so I can leave everything shut, you're okay. But those, it's just an exposed flame. So you're gonna eat oxygen up, not as much as using, say, a stove or something, but you'll still eat some oxygen up. Plus, you will create some moisture inside because it's not sealed. So you wanna have a window open, regardless. But other than that, yeah, they're fine. And yes, you can put the big ones onto a full-size propane bottle if you like. Will it be enough? Don't know, man. I would say windows are your biggest enemy. If you're gonna do your own cargo van, obviously you're probably not gonna put windows all around it like in an RV. I hate windows. They shouldn't have so many windows in these things. But if you do have windows, put the Reflectix over it, insulate the hell out of it, and cover it up with thick curtains as well, because that's where your heat's going to escape, especially if you're in an environment that's that cold. Zed Shark says, I always like the Q&A vids. Here's one for the next one. Do you have any tips or tricks for keeping those things quiet while driving? Your rig seems pretty solid with nothing rattling, maybe foam between plates and silverware, etc. By the way, don't be afraid to go more in depth in your answers. Seems like you try to rush through them sometimes. Peace. Well, there's sometimes stovetops rattle, but most people just put tinfoil around the burners to keep the tops from rattling, the burners. Cutlery, I've never heard any of that stuff rattling. I just have the no-slip slider, that no-slip stuff. They sell it at every RV shop, and Canadian Tire sells it, everywhere sells it. You just line that in your countertop so things don't move around. I didn't do it for noise, I did it just to keep things from moving around. And when I'm driving, I have my stereo on so loud I couldn't hear anything anyways. If there is something rattling, I really don't care. As far as going more in depth in my answers, here's why. I try to keep things as quickly as possible, get at least 3 or 4 questions in. I want to get videos to 5 minutes or less. People that watch YouTube videos, anything over 5 minutes, you lose a lot of audience retention and people start tuning out. So I try to keep everything as quick as possible. Any marketing expert will tell you that. When you're doing a promo video for something, you should keep it at 90 seconds or less. When I'm actually talking about things, I try to keep it at 5 minutes or less. If you go over 5 minutes, some people will watch to the end, but most will not. So I try to keep it quick moving. All right, so that's it for this edition. This Friday, depending on what time I'm off work, I will do the first draw for people that are winning some t-shirts from me, so stay tuned for that. If you don't see it on Friday, it'll be uploaded on Saturday morning. But I'll try to record it at least on Friday night and get it up for you for this weekend. All right, guys, keep on rocking the free world. We'll talk to you soon. Hey, so what do you think of van life?
Van life's fucking awesome.
Styrofoam boxes for the ozone layer. Got a man of the people says keep hope alive. Got fuel